Hey, are you a wild child that likes to put art on the floor? Well, today you can get art on my website, colinmullen.com. You could put it on the wall instead, but you're weird like that and you want to put wall art on the floor. So you can go and buy art and at least look at art on my website, colinmullen.com. So what you're going to be watching during this video is the sped up footage from the live stream we did the other day to celebrate that we have 1,000 subs on this channel. I basically just went through step by step on how to do this Subnautica painting. So if you want to watch that, it's about 3 hours long, but I have all the stuff you need in the description of that video, and that's cool. So if you just want to follow along and do some art, that's there for you. Also, if you just want to watch what Subnautica is, I'll link to my full streams of that on Twitch. It's a fun game. It's sort of like The Martian, but on a water planet. It's great. Anyway, let's get into today's video's topic, because that's why you're here probably. So, is art school worth it? Is art school a scam? Do you need to go to art school to be an accomplished artist who does it for a living? There's a bunch of people already on YouTube who have made this video, and they did not go to college, and yet they're here on YouTube making their living off of their art. So clearly the answer is no, you don't have to, but maybe it's just that they didn't have to. And so what I want to talk about in this video is why art school was good to me, why I felt like it helped me personally, and then you can decide whether or not that applies to you in the same way. You know, obviously the downside is that it costs thousands of dollars and it's gonna require a lot of your time and effort. So I'm gonna give you 4 reasons on why I feel like art school was good to me, and then you can decide for you whether or not that's actually worth the time and energy. So the first one is obviously the skill set. I think that's the one that everyone just sort of assumes is the thing that you get at art school. Like, you learn how to do art, and it's nice that you can just go to YouTube channels like mine. I'm trying to make this channel be able to provide that for you, but there's something nice about having critiques and having people actually tell you, hey, I like this, but this one section over here you could improve. And then it kind of allows you to be more honest with yourself and how you can improve. So I felt like I improved faster when I was in art school than I did prior. Now I have a little bit more of a critical lens, and I guess that's something you can develop. I took a painting class more or less on a whim, and I'm glad I did, because that art teacher really believed in me, pushed me, and I learned a lot about painting. I was a pen and ink artist prior to taking that class, and now I'm almost exclusively a painter. And so this channel would not exist had I not gone to art college, learned from that teacher, and then my painting 2 teacher as well. Both amazing teachers, so I owe a lot to them. So that skill set and going outside of my comfort zone is one of those points that, yeah, you could probably learn that here on YouTube. You could probably learn that by just stretching yourself. Go do some, sculpture or whatever. But like, that helped me immensely. The second point I want to make is the portfolio. The portfolio you get from art school is gonna help you get jobs. You need to have a portfolio if you're gonna get a job doing art outside of freelancing, and probably you still need it for freelancing, to be honest. You need to be able to prove I can do good work consistently, and you need to be able to show that that work is recent. Your best work should not be something that happened 2 years ago, because that says I don't do art very often, and it's not very often that I actually do good art either. So having a regimented school schedule where you have to go in, you have to do art, that will cause you to make a good portfolio. And that's a good starting point. You need to keep up with that. And again, you could do that without art school, but I still think that that's something really nice that art school gave me, because it gave me a variety. It gave me things, again, outside of my comfort zone, and I became more versatile as an artist because of it. And the third and fourth one are the ones that I feel like aren't as easy. The fourth one, definitely. But this third one, the networking you get in college is hugely important. You're not going to get a job unless if you know someone and get that in. And you're not going to have opportunities to do gallery shows until you have enough people that you trust that you can also hang in that gallery with you. Because unless if you're rich, you're not going to be able to pay for a gallery yourself. just go ahead and look up how much it costs to hang in a local gallery. And if it's actually a big name one, you need to have hundreds of dollars in order to hang your art in that gallery. And you're going to be giving them a commission of any sales you make. So you're not going to, unless if you're just loaded, you cannot make that investment easily. So you're going to have to share that cost with other people. And it's good to know people who are about your skill level and who are, you know, people you trust, that you know that you don't have to micromanage them, you don't have to know what they're doing. You can just show up to the show with the premise of whatever you're going to do at that gallery show, and they're going to come out with something super awesome, and it's going to make you look good by comparison, because this is someone who's hanging out with you. I recently learned about a gallery show. It was a total bust, but I went because of someone that I went to school with, and yeah, that was a bust, but at least I had that experience, and I can go and do other ones because she invited me to another one in Houston. I'm probably going to skip that one just because it's with the same gallery, and it didn't go great. But I know about these events because she's out there and I'm out there looking for ones as well. Between the two of us, we're finding out more and more galleries and shows. That's super good, and that's a level of connection that you wouldn't normally have. And if you're going to be going to school for, you know, design or animation, having a teacher who already has a footing in that, it allows them to know that when your teacher says, yeah, this artist, you know, my student is a hard worker, they know that teacher already, and they're going to go, okay, this person's a hard worker, they have a good portfolio, we'll hire them. That extra bump in your credentials is really important. Again, you could get that outside of school, but you're gonna have to go to galleries, you're gonna have to meet up with people, and even if you're a fine art kind of artist, you need to be going to galleries. That is important. And the last thing that art school can give you, that, and I feel like this is the only one that you cannot get outside of art school, is the resources that the university has. The university that I went to, I took a pottery class, and there was this guy who had graduated but was still going to the school to use the kiln because he had developed that relationship with the teacher, and they were totally cool with that he could just go in and use the kiln. And if I ever wanted to get back into oil painting, I could totally do that, and I could go down to the studio on a time that the class wasn't in there and use the studio and have that critique still from my teachers that I need. So that is something that you cannot get outside of art school. Those other things, maybe you can, you know, supplement by learning from YouTube videos. Maybe you can go and develop a portfolio on your own. Maybe you can get the networking by just going to events, and I highly recommend that you do that. But that having those resources of having a studio space that you didn't have to pay for, I guess you're paying for it if you go to art school, that is super useful. So let me end out on this video on, let's say that I've convinced you. Let's say I've convinced you that you should go to art school. Here's a couple of things that you need to be looking out for in their brochures, in their information, to decide whether or not it's a good art school, because not all art schools are good. And I'm definitely going to do a video at some point where I talk about how to survive art school, but this is just on how to pick one. So it's kind of a two-for episode. What is their graduation success rate? Of the people who go to that art school, how many of them actually turn out to be successful artists? How many of them get jobs in animation studios? How many of them go on to do gallery shows, and how many of them end up working retail? If that percentage is particularly bad or off the skew, then you probably shouldn't go to that one. Additionally, is it known for being a cutthroat kind of school? There is one school in my local area, I'm not going to name names, but is well known for, if you go there, there's only so many opportunities going around, and so the students are very cutthroat. They're gonna fight for it, and if that means destroying one of your works in order to make sure that you don't have it ready for the big gallery show, they will do so, because then there's an open slot and that slot is theirs. So I'd recommend avoiding that. I would recommend avoiding schools that are like that. Some people they enjoy that. I don't like that kind of drama. I just want to become a better artist. And lastly, look at the teachers who are going to be teaching you. Are they well known? Do they do gallery shows? Do they have any connections? Because that networking thing I was talking about is totally pointless if they do not have the connections that will actually help you. So Are they connected to anyone that you care about? Do they have gallery shows? Is their work good? You know, are they going to actually be a good resource for you? I was fortunate in that I found a school that had really accomplished artists who were doing the kind of art that I wanted to do. And some of the artists that weren't doing the art kind of that I wanted to do were super talented in what they did. My design teacher was super talented. I don't like doing design work, but I knew that he knew people that mattered, and so it helped. Art school isn't about the piece of paper. Not really. You can get jobs without having that piece of paper in pretty much any degree when it comes to art, as long as you have the portfolio that you can show off. But if you need that extra push, if you need to be pushed in a direction to get your art better, art school is a way of doing that. You got to decide though, is it worth the thousands of dollars? And hopefully by the end of this video, hopefully at this point, you know the answer, or at least know the questions that you need to ask before you decide to sign up for whatever universities in your area. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, let me know. I'm gonna try and give more examples of stuff that happened to me in school here in the future. But if you're down for that, go ahead and give me a sub. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed this. Bye.